Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup is back. And y'all, I just saw the first episode and it was so different than what I was expecting. Actually, I don't really even know what I was expecting, but I definitely wasn't expecting that. Season 1 was all about Ryan and Gypsy. This season is going to be all about Kian and Gypsy. And I don't know if I'm just naive or maybe I'm just out of the loop. I only go by what I see on the show, mainly, and then a few Instagram posts and some TikTok posts. And according to social media, Gypsy and Ken look like a very happy couple. They look like they're very excited for parenthood. They're so excited for their new baby. They're so excited to one day eventually get married, right? Yeah, no, that's not it at all. There's so much to cover, so let's just jump right into it. Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup, Season 2, Episode 1. Here we go. So the opening scene is of Gypsy and Kian in Kian's apartment in Louisiana. It's June 2024. He never thought that he'd ever live in Louisiana because remember, he was born and raised in Texas. He loves it there. He thought he'd be there forever. But here he is, Louisiana, because, and I quote, life happens. I'm not sure exactly how far along she was in her pregnancy in this episode, but they do get ready for an ultrasound, and I think it's their first ultrasound. So I'm guessing 3-4 months. And as they're getting ready for the ultrasound, they're answering the producer's questions, and Ken says something along the lines of, I wish she just got pregnant after her divorce from Ryan was finalized. It's not a good look.
I wish that she had gotten through this divorce process before this happened because this isn't it's not a good look for me. It's not a good look for her.
Does he not realize that he also had a big part in her getting pregnant? Like, what do you mean you wish she would have waited until after her divorce was finalized? What the f***? They're on the bed together and Gypsy, yet again, hints at wanting to get married. And it gets very awkward because she looks at Ken and then Ken looks at her and then she looks at Ken and then Ken looks away. And she's looking for validation, for confirmation that, yeah, we're going to get married soon. But he does not validate that at all.
I have no idea what we're going to do for marriage.
What?
Or anything like that. Like, this was not...
Then Gypsy talks about how apparently her reputation has gotten even worse since getting pregnant, and some of the haters are petitioning for her to get her tubes tied because they don't think she's going to be a fit mother because of what her mom did to her and what she did to her mom, blah, blah, blah. And Gypsy says, well, someone's going to have to break the cycle and it's going to be me. I'm on a high right now. Can't bring me down. Then they're on their way to the ultrasound appointment. Kian's driving and Gypsy's on her phone reading all the hate comments. And she reads it out loud and Ken's like, stop reading the comments. And she's like, you do it too, okay, Ken? I'm on high right now. You can't bring me down. I'm going to read all these comments. And he's like, okay, fine. I'm guilty too. So it's clear to me that they both are glued to their phones reading all the comments.
If I didn't trust you so much, I'd say that behavior is shady.
They get to their ultrasound appointment. We do not get to go inside with them, but once they're done and they come out, they share the ultrasound pictures with us. Then we see content creators on TikTok talking about Gypsy and her pregnancy. And I think it's fair to say that the majority of the public, they're not so happy about the pregnancy. They are worried and they are very, very skeptical. The next scene, we have Daddy Gyp, Rod, at his house, and he talks about how Gypsy got pregnant way too fast. Remember in the last season, he told Gypsy, do not get pregnant anytime soon, okay? And then the next week, she was like, guess what, Dad? I'm pregnant. So Rod is like, yeah, I wish it didn't happen. I wish she didn't get pregnant right away. She really should have taken the time, but the baby's coming. It's here. It is what it is. When her sister Mia found out that Gypsy was pregnant, she cried. Because she was so disappointed. Mia actually said those words. I was so disappointed in the news. That couldn't have been easy for Mia to admit in front of the cameras, knowing that she might get some backlash for it, but it was so real and so honest.
Gypsy FaceTimed me to tell me that she was pregnant. I was trying so hard not to cry on the phone. Disappointed, happy, but like worried all at once.
I really like Mia. She also says that because Gypsy rushed in getting pregnant, she really hopes that she and Kian don't rush in getting married because it's kind of like when their dad Rod got married to Dee Dee just because Dee Dee got pregnant with Gypsy, and Mia does not want that to happen again.
I hope that They do not rush a marriage. I'm not giving my blessing. I'm not doing that again. Dad went that route already with Dee Dee, and we're not doing that no more. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you need to get married.
And so Mia seems very adamant about that. I think Mia is very smart and she's very insightful. I like her. I like her a lot. Honestly, I think if it were up to GYPSY, they would have gotten married yesterday. I definitely think it's Ken who doesn't want to get married and he's holding out. And honestly, it's for the best. It really is. They should not be getting married. Ken, I don't even know if he likes her. Now it's GYPSY's baby shower, and I remember seeing this on social media. We meet Ken's dad. They look alike, but Ken's dad is actually a lot cuter than Ken is. I'm sorry, I'm just roasting Ken because I freaking hate him after this episode. So they're on their way to couples therapy, and it's so clear Ken does not want to go. He's like, we don't need it though. And GYPSY's like,
Well, I love therapy. We don't have to wait until we have a problem. Like, I think it's really healthy.
and I totally agree. It's like getting your annual physical or health checkups. You don't wait until something wrong happens to get checked. You just keep going and keep making sure everything is fine. So they meet with their therapist, and I love how the therapist was trying so hard. She was acting like she had no idea who they were. She was like, so what's your story? How'd you guys meet? Oh, okay. So they go through their history of how they met. Ken saw a documentary. Then he wrote to GYPSY a letter of compassion. Then they started writing back and forth. They fell in love. The rest is history. Oh, no, it's not, because he broke up with her. And then she thought she lost the love of her life, got with Ryan, then got back with Ken. And now here they are. GYPSY is very, very insecure. She's so afraid that Ken is going to leave her again. He's done it once before and he might do it again. So she's going to do whatever she can to make sure that Ken is at peace and he's filled with positive vibes and all the negativity from the press and the media doesn't get to him, so that she can hold on to him and stay with him forever. And then they get into the topic of social media, which I found so interesting. So GYPSY's like,
I think Ken has a really hard time with social media and us being online.
and he's like, really? Because I think you have a way harder time and it affects you way more. So they're going back and forth about how they're both on social media so much and it's affecting them, blah, blah, blah.
I
totally disagree with what you just said. You think that I have a harder time with it? I think that you have a harder time with it. Your nose is always in your phone scrolling through comments. I don't even do that anymore.
And while they were talking or arguing, his body language was so closed off. His arms were crossed and his body was just a little leaning away from GYPSY, whereas GYPSY just seemed a lot more open. Then they talk about a very common argument that they get into, which is he's looking at social media when GYPSY wants to hang out with him. He's always on his phone, always scrolling. And she wants to spend more quality time with him off the phone. And whenever she brings it up to him, he'll be like, okay, yeah, I gotta work on it. I'll spend less time on my phone. And then she'll hit him back with,
Well, you always say that.
and then Ken will be like, well, what do you want from me? And then they'll argue back and forth. GYPSY reiterates that she doesn't want to push Ken away, but at the same time, she doesn't want Ken to just be with her because of the baby. She wants him to be in a relationship with her because he wants to be.
When he broke up with me, the belief that I had was that he left because the pressure of being with me as a public figure was too much. So I am trying to protect him in a way that it doesn't become overwhelming and make him want to leave. And I don't want him to have resentment towards me for like how fast everything moved.
Now, it's very, very, very clear that she loves him so much more than he loves her. I don't even know if he loves her. I finished this episode thinking like, does he even like her? She really, really loves Ken way more than she ever loved Ryan. I don't even know if she loved Ryan. It's so obvious that Ryan was her rebound and she got under Ryan to get over Ken. And the second Ken came back, peeking around the corner, GYPSY, she dropped Ryan like a hot potato. And not just Ryan, she dropped Pixie too. Then we get a TikTok video of Ryan and I was just like, I think this was a second TikTok video repost of Ryan that we got. And I was thinking, are we ever gonna get Ryan on the show, like in the flesh, in real life? Is he gonna sit in front of the cameras and be on the show? Or are we just gonna get these reposted videos from Ryan's TikTok? So I checked his TikTok and his last post was on January 26th. Oh, look at his profile. It's so sweet. He says, my name is Ryan Anderson. He's a special education teacher. Wow, I didn't know that he worked in special education. I feel like it takes a very, very patient and kind-hearted person to work in special education. And then he has that he's Pixie's dad. Oh, I just love that so much because I'm a dog mom and I love when a dog parent loves their fur child. I don't know why, but when I go on social media and I see sad videos of humans or children, I get sad, of course, but I don't cry. But when I see a sad dog video, I bawl. Like literally, I'm hyperventilating. I have snot coming out of my nose. Why is that? I just love dogs so much. So when GYPSY ditched Ryan and Pixie, my heart broke for Pixie. I mean, not so much Ryan because Ryan is a big boy. He can heal himself. Time will heal all wounds. But Pixie? Pixie, the poor little dog? I might have a soft spot for Pixie because she reminds me so much of my dog, Coco, who's also black and white and also the same size and also a diva because let's be real, Pixie kind of looks like a diva. Very lovable, very stubborn, very picky eater, but for some reason she will eat Sunday's dog food without skipping a beat. I'm not even exaggerating. I have 2 dogs and they both gobble this up as if I'm giving them treats. And the best part is it's air-dried food, so it's nutritious and delicious. They've been eating Sundays way before they even became a sponsor. And you guys know I love my dogs more than anything in the world, so it's super important to me that I feed them healthy food. Sundays is made from entirely human-grade ingredients, 100% meat muscle, organs, and superfoods. 0 synthetics or artificial preservatives. You need to give your dog the chance to try Sundays and watch them fall in love. You can get 50% off your first order at sundaysfordogs.com/mythoughts or use code mythoughts at checkout. The link will be in the description. Again, it's sundaysfordogs.com/mythoughts or use code mythoughts at checkout. Thank you, Sundays, for sponsoring this video. My dogs love you. So yeah, I can't help it. Every single time I see Ryan and Pixie together, my heart breaks a little. I mean, it's so heartwarming, especially considering the fact that Ryan didn't even want a dog and GYPSY wanted the dog and pushed him to get the dog. And then she just left them. Honestly, not only does it break my heart, but it kind of pisses me off a little bit. Back to the episode. Kian and GYPSY are at his new apartment that he kind of hates. He's looking at it in the kitchen and he's like, oh, I wish I took more time to look at different apartments before signing the lease on this. But the pregnancy fast forwarded things and GYPSY wanted me near her as soon as possible. So that's what happened. That was the vibe that I got.
I can go back and redo my whole move all over again. I would have changed a lot. The pregnancy kind of fast forwarded things and she kind of wanted me down here ASAP. So I just said, okay, I took all my savings and just moved down here.
So Ken's in the kitchen cooking for GYPSY. GYPSY's looking at houses online because they want to move in and get settled into a house in time for the baby.
I definitely want a carpet in the nursery.
And Ken makes his face. Ugh, oh, that's going to be a lot of vacuuming.
Definitely put a carpet in the nursery.
It's gonna be a lot of vacuuming.
Bro, there's going to be a lot of work for you to do, for you and GYPSY to do when a baby comes, okay? It's not just about the vacuuming. It just drove me freaking crazy because he was making these little comments, like complaining about every little thing. GYPSY talks about how her home plan during her parole is listed at her parents' house, and that happened while she was separating from Ryan. But she really wants to live with Kian because she loves Kian. But she can't live with Kian unless they're married. Because if they're legally married, then she can switch her address on her parole. But if they're not married, then the best she can do is visit him twice a week. So she really wants to get married. Wink, wink. Hint, hint, Kian. GYPSY notices that the house she's looking at is 2,000 square feet. And she's like, wow, it's 2,000 square feet. And he looks at her and he goes, you sure you can keep up with all that?
It's like 2,000 square feet.
You gonna be able to keep up with all that?
I don't know, Kian. Can you keep up with all of that, Kian?
Now Ken and GYPSY look at some houses in person. Then they get back to his apartment and he's complaining again. Complain. Ugh, I've already put like 7,000 miles on my Jeep from traveling to see GYPSY. And listen, some of his complaints, like I get, you're in a bad mood and you're stressed and maybe you complain here and there, but he complains a lot. And then we learn he rarely stays with GYPSY at her place because he doesn't like her full-sized bed. He wants to sleep in a king bed because the king needs his space. What the forkity fork? I'm sorry. I would understand if it was the pregnant woman who needed space, but Kian, what? Next, there's a hurricane warning around where Gypsy lives, and there's a mandatory evacuation. She's on the phone with Ken, and Ken's like, where are you gonna go? And she's like, I'm just gonna stay here. And he's like, well, that's not evacuating, silly. If you die, I told you so.
So you're under mandatory evacuation?
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you going?
Nowhere. I'm staying here.
That's not evacuating.
I know.
All right, well, if you die, I told you so.
What? What the fuck? Come again? Bitch? He's so shady. He's weird. He's weird. I don't trust that mother trucker. Christy's laying in bed. She's really sick with something. She's lost her voice. She looks so bad. Like she can't even get up from the couch. And I guess they have to stack the chairs that are out in the lawn so that they don't blow all over the place. And Gypsy's like, do you have any like male friends who could pick the chairs up? I don't know, bitch. Can you pick them up? I mean, I forgot she's pregnant. I'm assuming that the chairs are like plastic chairs. I don't know. Maybe I'm making assumptions. I understand pregnant women can't like heavy lift. So maybe I should just shut up. The hurricane's over. Fortunately, everyone is okay. And at this point, Gypsy's been living at her parents' house for 6 months. And there's another Ryan TikTok video. I love how the show just keeps on reposting his videos from TikTok. I want to know, does he get paid for that?
Just wanted to say a couple things. Guys, be honest, I'm probably not going to bash Gypsy. That was my wife.
Guess what? Kian got approved for the house and he can move in starting October 1st. He's so excited for his dog Parker to get a yard and run around. I can so relate to that because right now, that's my dream. I want to buy a house for my dogs so that they can have their own backyard. Gypsy hears from her lawyer and her divorce is going to be finalized very soon. She's super happy and hopes that this is going to give Ryan the closure that he needs to move on. And maybe Ken will propose. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Ken. Now we're going to get into the dinner scene, which was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Okay, so it's their 7-year anniversary. He takes her out to this very nice Italian restaurant. On their way to the restaurant, he's like, come on, baby, get excited. It's date night. Woo!
Come on, baby, get excited. It's date night. Woo!
I can't continue right now.
And I did not realize until I saw it on TikTok that Kian was mocking Ryan. Because Ryan said that to Gypsy when he was trying to get Gypsy all excited.
You look really nice.
Thank you.
That halter top you bought last night, huh?
No, this is a different one.
Is it? I like it. You're tired, huh?
I'm so tired.
Well, snap out of it, baby. It's date night. Wow!
Ugh.
I don't like that sound. I don't like my wife going, when I say it's date night. It's date night with my husband.
Okay, so they finally get to the restaurant. It's the dinner scene. Now, let me just say, up until this scene, all of Kian's little quirks and little side comments and complaints, it bothered me, but not so much. Not so much to the point where I fucking hated him. But after watching this dinner scene, every little complaint, every little quirk became a big deal. It became a red effing flag because he is a dick. Kian is a dick. So he takes her to this upscale Italian restaurant called Tana. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's an upscale Italian restaurant. And because it's upscale, it's not going to have like pizza, spaghetti, the stuff that I love. It's mostly going to be seafood or other dishes that incorporate seafood, which I also love. And that's all great, right? It's all fine. Unless you don't like seafood. And guess what? Gypsy does not like seafood. But Kian, our lovely divalicious Kian, he loves seafood. So they're seated at their table, the server comes to get their order, and Kian orders for the both of them. I really wish we were able to see the conversation they had right before the waiter came. So basically, Kian orders the octopus as an appetizer, and then for the entree, he orders a blue crab salad that they're gonna split. For your partner to not like seafood and you order only seafood, now I found their menu online. Let's see if there's anything else they could have gotten. Caviar, octopus, oysters, calamari, tuna crudo. See, lots of seafood. Oh, they had meatballs. She could have gotten that. They have a creamy Italian salad. Anyway, my point is there were other options and he didn't even care to ask her. So after the server leaves, she's like, oh my God, you ordered octopus? And he's like, yeah, are you gonna have some? And she goes, no, I'm really scared of octopus. I'm on a high right now. Can't bring me down. I know, I'll stop doing that. But she basically tells him, I am so afraid of octopus. They're like the second things I'm most afraid of after spiders. And he's like, oh, well, you're still going to try it. And she's like, no. And he's like, yeah, you are. Okay. Also, when he was like, are you going to have some? Did he expect to just eat it by himself? Like, why did he not ask her when the server came? Like, is there anything you want? Are you okay with sharing the octopus? Do you want some of my octopus? Do you want the meatballs? Like, I don't understand. I was so confused.
You're just gonna try it because
Try the octopus.
part of you transitioning is trying things you never tried before.
I was also very surprised by how soft-spoken GYPSY was around Ken. She does not speak up. She is totally different around Ken than how she was with Ryan. She was not afraid to say no to Ryan. She was not afraid to give Ryan a piece of her mind. But around Ken, she's so quiet. And she's so like proper and perfect. And to me, it kind of almost felt like she was on eggshells or she was on her best behavior. She didn't want to piss him off. She didn't want to argue, or she just wanted to constantly please him. By the way, do you guys like octopus? I know this isn't about me, but I freaking love octopus. Oh, octopus is so damn good. I love octopus salad. I love octopus sashimi. I love calamari. I love octopus grilled. I love it. It's so good. But if my partner or my friend or my loved one or whoever I care about did not like octopus, there is no way in hell I am going to order octopus if we were going to share the meal. No, I would have ordered the octopus for myself and then I would have been like, what do you want to eat? And then they're like, no, I'm going to eat what you eat. Then I wouldn't have gotten the octopus. So the octopus comes and Ken's like, you're going to try it. I'm not taking no for an answer. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't want to hear about your fears. You're going to try the octopus because how are you going to know you don't like something until you try it? And she gets so quiet. She just nods. She's like, okay.
I'm not gonna hear anything from you. I'm not gonna hear about your fears. You're just gonna try it. But I want you to try the octopus because you don't know until you know.
Oh, and by the way, I do not agree with that sentiment, okay? Because I do not have to eat punani to know that I don't like to eat punani, okay? So Ken cuts a little piece of the octopus, puts it on her plate, and GYPSY does not want to eat it, but she's just trying to smile through the pain. She puts it in her mouth, and she's trying to chew, and she's like, oh, I can't eat this. She's about to spit it out. Ken's like, no, don't spit it out. You just have to swallow it. Don't be ridiculous, GYPSY. Just swallow it. And she does.
Okay, sorry.
Calm down. It's really good.
It's really good.
Just swallow it. Just swallow it. Don't be ridiculous.
Okay, down. Oh, God. Don't be.
What? If that were Ryan, she would have spat that octopus out and hit him in the face. What really pissed me off is, for a second, I forgot that she was pregnant. You're making your pregnant mother of your child eat seafood that she does not even want to eat and that she does not even like. You're going to make her eat it. And when she doesn't want to eat it, you're going to shame her and make her feel bad about it? What? And then she tries it and then she chews it and she tries to swallow it, but she can't. And then you force her to swallow it. What the fuck? So after she swallows it, she's like, oh, that was so bad. And he's like, well, I think it's amazing. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, good for you, you dumb. The server comes back to check in on everything. He's like, how's everything? And Kian goes, very good, but she didn't like it. And GYPSY's like, no, I'm good. She tries to be polite.
Very good. She doesn't love it. It's her first time trying.
I'm good.
What's getting to you about the octopus?
Oh, I have a fear of octopuses, so he's just like, eat it.
Well, she tried.
I did.
And she says, oh, I'm just scared of octopuses. So then the crab salad comes out. GYPSY's like, I don't want any. And he's like, just try a little bit. And she's like, no. And he's like, you're going to try it. And then he puts some on a plate and gives it to her. And she's like, okay, I'll try some. And she puts it on her fork. And then Ken eats it first. And he's like, oh, I don't think you're going to like this. And she goes, okay, yeah, I don't think so either. So she puts the fork down and pushes her plate to the side. She doesn't eat it. And then Kian gets so disappointed. He shakes his head and he's like, oh my God, come on, GYPSY. Can't believe you're not even going to try it. You're so disappointing. Bitch, what?
You want to try a little bit?
Nope.
Yes, you will. Go try a little bit.
Thanks.
I don't think you're gonna like it.
I probably won't. The peanut
Not even a
roll.
bite?
Oh, good.
You are so disappointing.
I can't.
And then GYPSY just laughs it off. She smiles, but you can tell this is really bothering her. Her feelings are hurt. So the server comes back to check in on everything, and he's like, did you enjoy the salad? And she goes, yes, thank you. And then Kian calls her out and says, oh, she's lying. She didn't even try it. What the fuck?
What do you like this time around?
Thank you.
She's lying. She didn't even try it because she's afraid. I liked it. She's just afraid to try it.
Thank God the server was so damn nice. He's like, oh, I can bring something out. Do you want me to bring out like a creamy Italian salad or something? And GYPSY goes, oh, no, I'm totally fine. I'm just being picky because I'm pregnant. And again, the server is so kind. He's like, by the way, can we find that server and give him a big fat tip? He was so nice and handled the whole entire situation so well. He was like, oh, you can be picky for whatever reason. Like, no one should fault you for that.
I'm picky because I'm pregnant.
You can be picky for any reason you want.
Nice.
Nobody's gonna fault you for it.
Yes, you can.
I think the server totally sniffed out the douchebaggery from Ken, especially as the server was collecting the plates. Kian decided it would be so funny to tell the server, I just wanted to publicly shame her. Kian, are you okay? What the fuck is wrong with you? And then the server goes, public shaming rarely works. And then he walks away.
I just wanted to shame her a little bit, that's all. Just kidding.
Public shaming rarely works.
Apparently.
GYPSY again smiles it off, but you can tell she's about to bust out crying. You can just, you know that feeling when you're so overwhelmed with emotions, you know you're about to cry. You're telling your body, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, but you're about to burst at any moment. That's what GYPSY's doing right now. So she looks around, she's like clenching her lips, and she's like, where's the bathroom? I wonder where the bathroom is. And Ken goes, oh, it's over there in the back. And then she goes, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. And she leaves the table. And then we hear her crying in the stall. After she's done crying, she comes back to the table. She acts like everything's fine. She doesn't even tell him that she was crying. She doesn't even show that she was crying. She sits back down as if everything's okay. And then okay, so he asks her, so are you excited about the house? And she's like, yeah, of course. But there's so much tension. And if Kian had a brain, he would have sensed that there was something off about her energy. Even though she tried very hard to play it off, it was just so obvious. Now, I don't know if he didn't know or if he knew and he purposely was not asking her. He never asked her what was wrong. It was so weird. There was just so much tension. And then he would just stare at her. And then he would just like go like this. Like, I don't know. Was he nervous? He was just shaking, like just staring at her.
What about you?
You know I can't live there yet.
You can't live there, but you can still make that house your home. Okay. Guess we'll figure that out together.
Yep.
Okay.
Freaking hate him. I hate him so much. So the dinner scene ends and we finally get Ryan. Woo! Team Ryan. Poor Ryan. He's sitting in his apartment all alone with Pixie. I freaking love that dog. He finally took down the sign that said Ryan and GYPSY. I don't know how long he had that sign on, but it burned through and left a mark on the wall. He's just not ready to completely get rid of all of GYPSY's things yet, but I'm like, bruh, you need to. It's been 6 months. And then we see Pixie. Pixie is so adorable. Like I said, I just love that. She's so cute. And I feel so bad that she was abandoned by her mother. I don't know why, but I just feel so bad for Ryan and Pixie. It actually makes me really mad. Like it literally pisses me off to know that GYPSY just fucking dipped after she forced Ryan to get the dog that he didn't even want. Now, of course, Ryan loves Pixie, and I'm so glad. It's so sweet to see how much he loves her. But still, it's so effed up. Anyway, Ryan is still mourning the loss of his wife. Blah, blah. He's still sad. And then the episode ends. And that's season 2, episode 1 of GYPSY Rose Life After Lockup. What are your thoughts? What do you think about Kian? You know how we all hated Ryan last season for being overbearing, so controlling, and he was just like a little creepy? Well, what if she made him that way? because he knew that she was talking to Kian. So he must have been paranoid and worried and just like wondering if she was going to leave him or if she was going to cheat. You know what that does to a person when you know someone's doing, like your partner is doing something or talking to someone from their past? It makes you insecure. It makes you jealous. It makes you paranoid. And I feel like maybe that's what GYPSY did to Ryan. That's why Ryan was so, quote, controlling. And he wanted to know who, what, when, where, why, and how. And that's why he was so desperate for GYPSY's love and attention, because he did not want to lose his wife, because now Kian was in the picture. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, I'm just so shocked with Ken. I don't know why he agreed to be on season 2 if he was that much of a douchebag. Like, we would all see it. Or maybe he thought that we'd all be on his side. Anyway, that's it for the recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check out sundaysfordogs.com/mythoughts to give your dogs premium healthy food that they're gonna love. I promise you, especially if your dog is a picky eater, give it a try. My dogs love Sundays. Thank you guys again, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.
Hey guys, it's me, Ryan. Of course, y'all know that, but I'm sitting at Alex Box, about to go in to watch LSU versus Missouri. Bought this bat. I always buy bats anytime I go to a stadium or anything like that. I love these bats. Wish I could hit somebody with this bat, especially after the first episode. I'm just joking. Just a joke.